So you have finished the Madinah Books, you have sat through some Arabiyyah bayna yadayk classes, perhaps even studied the whole book, but you still feel like a traveler without a map. You read the Qur'an and you're missing 30% of the words. Every single page, you just feel lost. You pick up scholarly works and you feel like you don't understand fully. And you have reached a plateau of learning. I exactly understand where you are at. In about my 4th to 6th month of actively learning the Arabic language while I was in Egypt, I was literally at that stage. But later on, I went from 0, when I was 18 actually, at being accepted at Al-Azhar University and completing 3 years, a 3 years curriculum in 1 year. And this was all in Arabic. And I understand that you have put the hours and you have got the notebooks filled with grammar tables. You have gone through Al-Ajurumiyya perhaps. But when you actually sit down to read, it's like there is a veil. You recognize some words, but the sentence structure feels like a puzzle that you cannot solve. Now you're studying, but not really learning. And there is a scientific explanation to this. They call this affective filter. It's basically a concept in second language acquisition. They call it SLA, where stress and frustration literally creates a mental block that stops your brain from processing the language itself. And I understand it feels like you're stuck into the input overload, basically memorizing vocabulary and going through grammar rules and going through Al-Ajurumiyya and Al-Mutammima, etc., etc. And to be honest, the problem is just that you have so much data, but you don't have a system to turn that data into a skill, into your language skill. Most people think that they have failed at Arabic once they go through this situation. And they think maybe they weren't smart enough, they didn't study the Madinah Books hard enough. But the truth is, you didn't fail. Your method did. You have been treating Arabic like a history subject to be memorized, when in reality, the language is a physical skill that needs to be acquired. Just like Ibn Khaldun famously mentioned, that is a faculty that needs to be rooted in the organ that performs it, being the tongue. So it's an action, it's not a set of rules. So you need to start shifting from studying about to possessing Arabic. It needs to be yours. So today, inshallah, I am unveiling the Kashf al-Mufradat coaching system, the exact framework I use to reach fluency in 10 months and help my students get accepted into the Madinah University, skipping prep years entirely of Arabic language. So stick with me, inshallah, because the third step contains the repetition secret that most teachers never tell you about. And look, I want to help you move forward regardless. So if you book a call in the first link in the description to see if you qualify for the one-on-one mentorship and to see if we can even help you, I will give you for free a vocabulary wallet, which is a wallet that usually only students at Andalus Institute have access to. And this is what I have been using for over a decade now to continue to build my Rasid Lughawi, my vocabulary mental dictionary. Ginger shot. Turmeric shot. Let's get into it. Now, step number 1, recognition doesn't equal recall. Recognition doesn't equal recall. What do I mean by this? So when I was in Egypt, I thought that I knew the word, for example, write, kataba. I recognized it, but when a teacher asked me to use it in a complex sentence, I froze. Why? Because knowledge does not equal ability. In SLA, second language acquisition, they have a research about something called recognition and recall. So recognition is passive. It's when you see a word like kitab and think, oh, I know that. But recall is active. It's when you are able to retrieve it off your mental dictionary. So it's your ability to retrieve that word from thin air whenever you need it. And Ibn Faris, who is a well-recognized scholar and a reference when it comes to the Arabic language, he beautifully said, إِنَّ لَعِلْمَ الْعَرَبِ أَصْلًا وَفَرْعًا أَمَّا الْفَرْعُ فَمَعْرِفَةُ الْأَسْمَاءِ وَالصِّفَاتِ كَقَوْلِنَا رَجُلْ وَفَرَسْ وَطَوِيلْ وَقَصِيرْ وَهَذَا هُوَ الَّذِي يُبْدَأُ بِهِ عِنْدَ التَّعَلُّمِ. He says the knowledge of Arabic has a root and a branch. As for the branch, is knowing nouns and adjectives like I was saying, man, horse, tall, short. This is what one begins with when learning. So here's two beautiful things to take from this. The first one is that Ibn Faris, who is from 100 years ago, a scholar and a reference in the Arabic language, who did a lot of works that we refer now back to, and that the scholars that you refer back to right now have referred back to, like Al-Ajurumiyya and these books, they have referred back to Ibn Faris and these sort of scholars. First of all, he says you need to start with vocabulary. That's what you start with when you learn. So anybody out there who's studying,
let's start with grammar, because you need to understand the Qur'an, you need to understand the grammar.
Well, this is scholars from 100 years ago. So why are we reinventing the wheel now? And the second thing is that him saying you start with knowing ma'rifatul asma was sifat. So you start with knowing these words is the capability of being able to retrieve it, not just recognizing. If I like a child, when you show him a picture, what is this? And they say apple. But now if you want to tell them, you remember that thing that is red and has this form, what is it called? It's like, oh man, I don't remember exactly. So this is what happens when you learn the language and you haven't used it enough. You read a book and perhaps you recognize it better than you are able to retrieve it off your mind. And the reason why this happened is because, again, you haven't used it enough, and you haven't رسختها enough. You haven't embedded it enough in your brain, or haven't used it enough so it embeds in your brain. And you have been stuck in this place, which is where you're able to recognize it, but you're not able to retrieve it yet. And this is why you, in language in general, you always better at understanding than actually speaking it and using and producing language yourself. And you probably at this stage right now where you say that I understand more than I can speak, but I get what you mean, right? And this happens with all languages. I speak 5 languages, and I've gone through this situation over and over. All it comes back to conclude this step, is usage. The more you get stuck and you don't know how to say that thing that you are trying to say in your mind, and you go through the practice of like the rep. Now imagine as if you was in the gym and you get to failure. That trying is where you're actually working. So in language, if you get to a point where it's like, how can I say that thing? And if you take this as a learning phase, and you say, okay, let me try and retrieve it, or let me look it up so I don't forget the next time, or let me have my coach or my speaking partner correct me so I don't do like those people who say,
oh yeah, or whatever that is. You gave me. Just
and you keep on the conversation because you feel awkward. No, you should use that as a practice moment and go ahead and find the word that you're trying to say and store it in your mind. And tomorrow, after tomorrow, the next day, you are going to be able to retrieve it easily. And it all comes back to how many times do you do this? And this is how you go from recognizing to actually recalling. It's 2 different things. Now, this brings me to step number 2, which is you don't study a language, you practice it. Most people treat Arabic like biology. They study it, but Arabic isn't a subject, it's a physical skill. You don't study how to ride a bike, you get on it and wobble. There is a concept in SLA, they call it meaning before form. And it means that your brain acquires language faster when you focus on the meaning of the message first before you obsess over the grammar rules. And again, our scholars from 600 years ago, they brought this forth before any of these modern researchers understood it. Like for example, Ibn Khaldun, he says, إن اللغة هي عبارة المتكلم عن مقصوده فلا بد أن تصير ملكة متقررة في العضو الفاعل لها وهو اللسان. He says language is the expression of the speaker about what he intends. Therefore, it must become a firmly rooted faculty in the organ that performs it, namely the tongue. This is Ibn Khaldun, the author of Al-Muqaddimah. Now, so he uses the word malaka, a firmly rooted faculty, something that you possess. And this is why I'm so passionate about this, because after literally being thrown in a French school in France by my father, not knowing a word of French, Spanish being my first language, just being thrown there at 14 years old. And I know what it took to learn all of these different languages that I know, these 5 languages that I know. So I know, and I'm so passionate about it, that this is why when I read these sayings of the scholars and it matches literally what I went through, is like a aha moment. So this is how we have built the Andalus Institute program, and the Kashf al-Mufradat coaching system is heavily based on you put in the work, you speaking, because that's how it becomes a faculty rooted in your tongue. And then the rest of the skills, it becomes so easy, because when it comes, if you look at the language skills, you will see that speaking is at the top. Then you have reading, understanding, recalling, recognition. All of these things are easier than the top, which is recall, which is speaking.
So tell me, Muhammad, is this you didn't have no experience before joining the program?
I had very little experience. So
Mhm.
I finished Madinah Book 1, that's about it.
Okay. So so how many lessons was that Medina Book 1?
I think about 24 lessons in Madinah Book 1.
Mm-hmm. And for how long did you do that?
So that took a while, because I think I did a majority of the book in some 3 months maybe, and then I stopped for my university studies, and then I finished it again.
How is everything overall, the experience with the program?
Alhamdulillah, it's very I like it. I benefited a lot, alhamdulillah. The biggest thing was how you taught to acquire vocabulary. So I wasn't aware of how to get verbs, how to like put down a verb. I need to have the ماضي, المضارع, the masdar. So yeah, that's the biggest thing I took away from this. And yeah, alhamdulillah, the live sessions are very beneficial.
So at Andalus Institute, that's what we do. Pretty much, and in simple terms, you go over 74 lessons, and after each lesson, you go on a one-on-one coaching call with an instructor who will make you practice, who will make you speak, who will put you on the spot, who will make you make the mistakes to see and retrieve and see where are your weaknesses so we can fix them, and you don't learn with mistakes, and it happens just as what happens to a lot of students. They go over the Madinah books, they go over Arabiyyah, bayna, yadayk books, and because they were in a class and they were being lectured but not being coached, what happens is that they have so many gaps in their learning and in their knowledge that after they complete the program, they feel like they haven't actually learned anything. And this brings me to step number 3, which is spaced repetition. And you see, I hear it all the time. I have gone over the Madinah books 3 times. I have gone over Arabiyyah, but I still don't have it. You have just been a victim of massed practice. And spaced repetition, what it is basically that they have researchers that prove that if you revise a word right before you are about to forget it, it's 10 times more powerful in it sticking into your long-term memory. So how does this translate into practice? If you are speaking and you want to say something and you're like, oh, what is that thing that is it? It's literally in the tip of my mouth. How can I say this in Arabic? And you get stuck. This is the moment that you are practicing. So this is why you have to practice the language, so you can find as many of these moments as possible, so you can get stuck as much as possible, and you can use those as language practice moments. And those are the moments where you actually grow. And look, when Umar ibn Khattab, he said, تعلموا العربية, learn the Arabic language because it's part of your religion. That means that you should treat it as such. If you really want the Arabic language because you want to follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and you really understand that it's part of your religion, you have to do things like you do things religiously. Just like you do salah. Salah, you do it 5 times a day, right? Now, have you gone over these books? How many times a day do you actually use the content of those books? Do you study enough? Do you speak with your family in the Arabic language? And I can understand, of course, sometimes, especially with a Fusha, it's so hard to find someone to practice with. And this is why in our Kashf al-Mufradat system, we use the scaffolded progression. We give you first the support you need, then gradually put it away until you are able to read the Qur'an on your own and recognize all of this knowledge that you have taken from this book. And then we give you the place for you to practice. So we have speaking sessions, and you have a community with other students who are on the same path as you, so you can continue to practice this. And to be honest with you, some students, they complete the Arabic program at Andalus Institute, and they even get a job and start working at Andalus Institute, just like it happened to me when I completed the markaz and the center in Egypt. I actually became the secretary. So I was, because I knew 5 languages, I was connecting teachers with students, and I had to speak Arabic and I had to speak other languages. And look, we have seen it times and times again. This system that I have put together for 7 years, I've been refining it. You need to understand that it's 100% guaranteed that if you go through it, you are going to reach a level of Arabic that I call Arabic independence, where you are able to recall the Arabic language that you want, that you have gone over, and you're able to pick up a Arabic scholarly work and understand 99% of it. And what you don't understand, you have the skills to search it up. That's the whole point of it. So I'm so passionate about this, and I am always trying to refine the system for individuals like you. So if this is something that you think could help, go ahead and book a call in the first link in the description, a qualification call. Talk to my team, get a vocabulary wallet, and even if the worst thing that can happen is that you get some information on how it works, and you get a vocabulary wallet, and inshallah, bi'idhnillah, Allah will give you tawfiq in whatever you search for it. Wassalamu alaikum.